Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Omega Seamaster Professional Diver 300-meter chronograph. You can see the stainless steel pre-coaxial Seamaster chronograph and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Seamaster Professional Diver 300-meter chronograph. Now, during the late 1990s, the Seamaster 300 really was the franchise, although the Speedmaster Professional was eternal and produced from the heady days of the 1960s through the crisis years of the 70s and 80s. The real difference maker in Omega's catalog was the, quite coincidentally, James Bond endorsed Seamaster 300 model line, specifically the one you see here with the iconic Omega waves on the blue dial and the skeletonized hands. The watch in chronograph form wears larger than its Bond-endorsed counterpart, but it's still quite manageable at a reasonable 41.5 millimeters across the round of the case, not inclusive of the helium release valve, chronograph pusher's crown, or crown guards. It is thicker than your standard Bond Seamaster, however. At 17 millimeters thick with that helium valve, it won't fit underneath the absolute tightest of formal cuffs, although you should be okay with jacket. Now, in terms of lug to lug, the watch is very reasonable. If you want to wear it NATO style on a textile strap, then it's 49.5 millimeters lug to lug, but the bracelet, which is of superb quality, does extend farther across the wrist at 55 millimeters. This one actually has a burly, modern sized span. However, you can see on my 16 centimeter wrist, for whatever reason, the 55 millimeters simply doesn't play that way, and it fits quite easily. So I would say you could wear this watch on a wrist down to 14.5 centimeters in circumference with no trouble. The bracelet is beautifully built. First of all, it's beautiful. Its finishing gives it character, distinction, differentiates between the different surfaces, and in many ways, it's easier, lighter, and more delicate on the wrist without being delicate than a Rolex 3-link Oyster bracelet. This bracelet is famous for its comfort, and you can see on the underside broad channels between links to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. It does feature the clasp that is generally considered to have forced Rolex to reconsider its clasp quality. Single swing arm, all milled out, very solid. It features a deploying dive extension for use over a wetsuit or a dry suit, but as I always like to say, you're most likely to use it over a thick sweater or a winter coat, as I did when I owned one of these watches during my time in New Hampshire. Now, the watch features a very substantial case. Without being oversized, it nevertheless manages to be imposing. Beautiful polished bezels contrasting with a satin case flank. You can see the iconic helium release valve. Saturation divers take note, everyone else, it's a great conversation piece. The bezel is beautifully made and easy to turn. It has positive detents and a very audible, helpful ratchet. Between the tactile feedback and the sound, you're going to be able to turn it precisely to exactly what you would like. And of course, it's great for aligning with the minute hand to start a second concurrent timing along with the chronograph, so you can time two events at once. Now, you also note that the dial is the classical Omega Blue Wave, but with a few upgrades. This isn't one of the very first of the pre-coaxial Seamaster 300 chronographs, so it has some enhancements in the form of applied Omega marquee, higher dial quality, also evident in applied indices rather than printed. So it's a little bit upscale even compared to what Mr. Brosnan wore. Now, of course, it is a chronograph, and it is powered by Omega's adapted version of the Valjoux 7750, known as, in this instance, caliber 1164. It is in chronometer specification, which means it's exceptionally accurate in a watch that is exceptionally tough and water resistant. It's important to note that it features all of the refinements you'd expect of a chronometer grade chronograph. 44-hour power reserve, automatic winding. It does feature hacking seconds, pull the crown, stop the balance, synchronized to a reference time, and there is a quick set for rapidly cycling the date. Now, being pre-coaxial, this is as tough as Omega chronographs get. It's up there with the Speedmaster Professional in terms of pure robustness of its mechanical architecture. The coaxials have become tough and reliable in the modern era, but in this era, Back in the early days of the coaxial, this was the one you wanted. Very tough, handsome, classically designed, and still well loved by enthusiasts. The Bond era Seamasters are modern icons. You can see and you can purchase this one on our website.